Hey there, how you doing? Team H&K. This one's gonna be a bit of a more chill video. So this one is on the root of all evil, monetization. I think most people's motive in life is not really money for the most part, but I think most people desire love and attention. I myself am a receiver of that personal attribute. And I think in life, we come to the realization that the only way to get these things is through control and influence of others. You know, if every person around you knew was a controllable character, like an NPC or actually, not a controllable character, but just a robot character that you could control, you could say, hey, give me all your money. You could be like, hey, you, I want your money. Give it to me. But obviously, we don't get that. But with this comes with tribulations and triumph. Because if everything that you ever wanted was so easy to get, it probably would be given to everyone and therefore losing its value. And I think us as humans have a desire for, in some way, not being the minority, but sometimes even cherishing or having possession of the minority of things, nouns, if you will. But with this comes with the understanding of the root of all evil, monetization. You know, most people think money buys power, which is in some way true, but the real analogous stance would be that money influences power, and that's enough. See, I could get you to do something as much as I want to, and if your price tag is not in my criteria, it'll never get done. So for instance, if I said, hey, you got to suck that penis for $1 billion, how many people are going to suck that penis? Well, probably a lot. But if I said the same thing for $1, you probably won't suck that penis. Or maybe, hey, I don't know what you do, but you may do it. Regardless, money influences us. Money influences us. It's a weird way to say that. In ways that we may not realize. And so people use that as their motivation. Instead of motivation, they use monetization, which is a fair attribute. But I think there are more cons than pros that outweigh the love for monetization. And built on a world where cash rules everything around me, dollar, dollar, dollar bill, y'all, it does act as a supplementary for love and attention. So, oh yeah, I have a yacht. OnlyFriends girls, come love me. I'll give you attention. I have this mansion on the east side of the coast. People join me, friends, family, love me. And these are all beneficiaries of work, effort, and time, and benefits being reaped from the effort put in. But I think that from a compassionate stance, or at least a human biological and health stance, we were given this experience to create and enjoy the finer things. And with that, money serves as a motive for that. It serves as a positive attribute in some aspects. But in other words, money acts as an anchor to people's day-to-day lives. So they're anchored to monetization. And when I started this channel really was just me saying, you know what, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to start a channel and I'm going to start from scratch. I'm not going to follow any rules. I'm just going to do what I want to do and vibe out, have my fun. And with that, we made a lot of memories along the way. We've done a lot of things that I didn't think I would be able to do or interact with, or people I got to, at least share a video with or a message with. And it felt great. And my motive was never really for monetization. It was literally just, I liked being myself on camera. I liked the idea of just doing whatever I want on camera and like looking back at what I say or do, or looking back at the edit I made. And my motive for YouTube really never became monetization, or never was monetization. It was literally just because also I just really like film and like movies and stuff. It was really just for that, like the initiation into these things sort of allowed me to see what I could and could not do. It was a step in the new direction, stepping out of my comfort zone. I learned a lot, taking feedback from people who watch my videos. I also got a little bit better at articulating myself, at least when I put in the effort. learning new words, learning how to talk on camera, learning how to be on camera. I'm still bad at eye contact, but it's more so I can make eye contact in real life. It's more so it's a camera. It's kind of hard to, but whatever. I guess it's ADHD. Don't mind me. But you know, I think that the fact that I never really made money my motive in any aspect, that's why I reign with so much creativity. And when we're looking at things like Hollywood, relationships, friendships, money takes a huge toll on those artifacts, at least for me, because mine are antiquated in terms of I don't really have that many friends or relationships. I have a few, but not much. What I'm getting at is though, for Hollywood, for instance, Hollywood operates as a business. Now, I think that the original basis of Hollywood was very innocent, and that's why you get very genuine, more corny aspects of life in Hollywood. And those ideas were the childlike embodiment of those who wanted to embellish in said endeavors and create whatever content that was pursued. Okay? Therefore, the result outweighed the monetization because the creativity outlasted the illusion of what it meant to create the content. What I mean is, Hollywood now as a business operates on monetization, right? You put in that $100 million, investment. Will that ROI seep back to the grand yield eyes field equation? Because you have to realize that these metrics aren't just susceptible from that $100 million investment, because there's a lot of marketing, budgeting, etc. So they have to make, triple that to actually hit profit. And when you look at, movies like Fantastic Four, Superman, the more recent superhero projects, some of them have lost their flame because honestly, as soon as Robert snapped his finger, it felt like the world ended. That was it. How could you reach a climax like that? You're talking about a 15-year expedition of great films, all being tied back to one great moment. But with that, obviously comes triumph and destination. And I say this to say, the operation from just creativity, no monetization, in any aspect, whether that be your spouse, your friends, your own career, hobby, business, etc. I think that God has this undying fidelity to us as humans and wants the best for us long term. And when we put forth our passion for the ability of monetization, we get a lot further. The only thing is, this self-worth and doubt is the only obstacle in time in which you will inevitably face, and that can be your detriment through time. I believe that the root of all evil seeps in the nooks and crannies of true creativity, true results, true imagination that your childlike self still feasts on. At the end of the day, we're all grown children, speaking to adults, obviously. And that child never leaves you. It doesn't go away. It stays there, but it sits in the background, watching and observing the newer forms and phases that you exist in every single day. And I think there's something special about that childlike self because it's the original form. It's the past self before the canvas was painted. A clean slate, unaffected by the world. And as we grow older, I think we often take a dubious stance when approaching situations. But I think that the outweighed creativity, lack of ambition for monetization, and the exhilaration for our endeavors that we take in life often are pronounced better through the passion from our childlike selves. I think operating from a stance of resentment often anchors you towards that same stance, where they're talking about men building their hateful resentment against women or any other attribute, because that's a more commonality aspect or attribute. Understanding our unhealed trauma or past like selves, our wounds, our unspoken moments, I think are often resided when we face the critical realization that we're all we're all children at the end of the day. We're children of God. We're God's children. We're the most powerful resonance of human frequency or spiritual frequency. We are the most innovative. We are the creators of our universe. Us human beings, spiritual beings having a human experience. And so I think it is important for people to understand that, maybe the endeavor you want to take shouldn't be about monetization. Maybe it should be just about the passion. And I'm saying this because with the release of the new AIs that are coming out, they're starting to get so powerful that they're going to they're going to start replacing people's jobs, and most people are not going to have a real purpose after that, whether that be white collar, blue collar. They're going to serve as basically useless NPCs. If a robot can outwork you, outdo you, everything in every attribute, the company is going to replace you. It wants monetization. And so that's slightly evil because, these are humans, right? They're doing machine over human at this point. Humans have compassion, can learn, can develop, and companies are willing to prioritize expenditures over human existence. So in the future, if we're looking at this from a nihilistic philosophical stance, sure, life really doesn't have a deeper meaning if you want to be maniacal about it. But if we're coming from a stance of perpetual innovation, and I'm talking to anyone who doesn't have a job, really, or is just, struggling in the economy, are more than likely going to have to exist as your own and creative endeavor. So you're going to have to try to become Walmart. You're going to have to try to become your own conglomerate. And the thing is, you can't build your motive off of monetization. It has to be built off of passion and scalability. So you have to love making the best t-shirts. You have to love Amazon FBA marketing, online ebooks, something, right? And that love and passion for the cause is what's going to fuel your rocket later on. Because if that is the case, and jobs do get replaced, humans get replaced by AI, you as the person are not going to want to suffer via having a job that you hate, doing it via a criteria of exposure, right? So I think that money acts as the root of all evil. I think we all know this. But I think that with the advancements in technology, people's passion is going to have to outweigh their love for monetization in the short term or in the long term, depending on the alleyway you go down. Because when they replace you, you're really going to have to love yourself and have love and attention for yourself. And you're going to have to fight for yourself in order to beat the bell curve. Not everyone's going to make it out, but, start up that YouTube channel you were thinking about. You get me? Fire up that TikTok account you were trying to think about. Fire it up. Why not? You have nothing to lose. You have nothing to lose. Try IG Reels. Try to get on Facebook marketing. Facebook loves marketing. Go boot up that dropshipping show. Study meme coins, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin. Trump just added a bill. You can add Bitcoin and cryptocurrency to your 401ks. Fire it up. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's really it. Okay, Team H&K. Let your passion outfuel your desire for monetization. And with that come the very thing God watched you walk your way into. Okay? With that being said, Team H&K, I will see you guys when you're older. Peace.